Coming up in today's Reuters Breaking Views, why a newly merged Glenstrata needs a corporate governance champion in the chair, and why the LIBOR fallout is forcing big changes to the broking business. Joining us now is Reuters Breaking Views assistant editor Robert Cole. Let's start with Glenstrata, of course Glencore, Xstrata, for those who don't know that already. The merger's been pushed back another 6 weeks for competition issues, but this gives the board invaluable time to get the right person for the job, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, this has been a merger that's been a long time in the gestation and had some controversy attached to it as well, of course. But now we're at the point of, this thing is going to come about unless something very extraordinary comes out of left field. But one of the things they haven't quite settled yet is who's going to be the chairman. You know, Ivan Glasenberg is going to be the CEO, fantastically experienced, determined man. And the temptation, we think, for him and for the rest of the board who are making this appointment will be to get a miner, an industry expert, someone with fantastic operational experience. And, you know, one can see why they'd want to do that because, you know, it is a miner and that kind of expertise is required.
But look what happened to Rio Tinto.
Well, there are examples as you refer to, but it seems to us more important that, you know, we have somebody who knows his own mind, who is independent and can be seen to be independent by outside shareholders, to give this company the very best start that it could expect, and that, you know, there is a clear difference between the roles of the chairman and the chief executive. You know, we know that the chief executive runs the company, the chairman runs the board, is the kind of shorthand, and we think that Glencore would be doing itself a lot of favours if it was adhered to, if you like, conventional thinking on that. And we wonder whether, you know, the temptation is perhaps to be unconventional.
But what tends to work? I mean, I know it's a fairly, yay or nay sort of question, but bringing in an outsider for the chairman's job, or having someone with a bit more industry expertise, what tends to work?
Well, I think that the model which is sort of accepted, which is that there has to be some sort of outsider in the chairman's role, or some sort of non-expert, or somebody who's not been in the company or indeed the industry all his life or her life,
not being institutionalised.
Yeah, it is better because it gives that balance. I mean, you know, I'm a fan of companies where, you know, if you like, the chief executive is in the driving seat, but that has some balance from a chairman who can say, well, hang on, you know, have you thought about this, and bring some experience from other industries as well, because I don't think too much specialisation can be a bad thing.
Let's move on to ICAP. Of course, the London-based interdealer broker is now being investigated as part of the the broader fallout from the LIBOR scandal, but. Explain this one to me. ICAP doesn't set rates, it doesn't post rates, it's not a bank that posts LIBOR-style rates, so why are they being investigated?
Well, you've got to be quite careful because, you know, we don't want to besmirch anybody's name unduly, but I think we can assume that they have been drawn into this LIBOR scandal. And of course, we've also got to remember that it's not really a surprise, because when one of the last sort of iterations of this crisis, it was quite clear from the reports that were made that interdealer brokers were, if you like, in the frame. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure how it works. But I think that, you know, we're trying to say two quite simple things here. Very obviously, anyone who gets drawn into this, what George nicely calls the LIBOR Hydra, is hardly going to be delighted about it, and the brand values could be diluted. But I think the more serious and more insightful point here is that there will be questions raised about, if you like, the voice broking, you know, which is a very traditional way of going about it, and whether, because it's through voice, people speaking to each other, that sort of leaves some sort of opportunity for naughtiness, for want of a better term. So the model will come under scrutiny here as well. And I think, for my own self, I think that it would be a shame if the model was, if you like, kicked into touch without very close thought, because actually, you know, a market does exist on people talking to one another, and you know, the alternative is that some sort of machine takes over, and
they are taking over, Robert.
Well, they are, and there's some great stuff in that, but you know, also I think that, you know, you can get wrong prices if you just look for blueprints and Excel spreadsheets. So it's quite good for markets or the participants within a market to talk to one another.
It's good
Clearly,
to talk.
they've got to obey the rules as well.
Of course. Robert, thank you very much. That was Breaking Views Assistant Editor Robert Cole. And for more agenda-setting financial insight, watch our US Breaking Views show every day, 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 GMT. I'm Jamie McGeever. This is Reuters.